dreams. I'm Madeline, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. For those of you that are familiar with DreamBank, welcome back. And for those of you that this is your first time joining us, welcome. Here at American Family Insurance, we believe communities are stronger and the future is brighter when people are actively pursuing their dreams. That's why we create DreamBank, an inspirational community destination and digital experience dedicated to dreamers everywhere. From our daily event series to immersive signature programs, there's something for every dreamer. Our always free offerings are designed to help you celebrate your dream journey, overcome obstacles, and stay motivated. And we also have our Dream Summit, which is one of our signature programs, open for registration. It is November 21st, an all-day virtual conference. And then also you'll have 30-day access to the content if you sign up, but you're unable to join us live. But now I'd like to introduce you to today's speaker. Ashley Hines is the founder of The Tailored Life, helps people live with purpose through practical tools for personal growth. She empowers individuals to align daily actions with bigger dreams, guiding them towards a more intentional life. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Maddie. And hello, everyone. Again, Ashley Hines, and I am the founder and owner of The Tailored Life. I am based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So my ask for you is in the chat, please share where you're joining us from. And then also please share one word that describes how you feel about organizing your home. So if you could, I can see the chat coming up, so please feel free to add that to our time today. I'll keep us moving along and share a little bit more. So life can be chaotic. And 2020 was the most chaotic year of my life. Amid the uncertainty, I found calm though in decluttering and organizing my home. With nowhere to go due to the pandemic, I spent late nights letting go of what I no longer needed, used, and loved. It was therapeutic for me. It truly was. I was reclaiming control of my space and with it, my peace of mind. I literally felt it, you all. I learned that releasing what no longer serves us truly serves us. By the end of 2020, I felt a lot lighter and more centered, and the tailored life was born. Now I help others create peace, order, and intention, fostering optimal well being through holistic home organizing. I am also a healthcare executive, an entrepreneur, community leader, wife, and a mom of two. You actually see my babies up on the wall. All aspects of who I am impact my approach to this work. So I see you all are joining us from Madison, from North Dakota, from Northern Wisconsin, the Twin Cities. So thank you so much for joining us from all over. And I'm seeing some of the descriptions of how you feel about home organizing. I see overwhelmed, I see happy, overwhelmed again. So I'm starting to see a theme here. So this is a really great segue into the intention for today. So my intention for today is to help you feel less overwhelmed and more empowered to organize your home. You'll leave today with some inspiration, hopefully some tips and resources to create a home that reflects and supports the life you want. That is really key, the life that you want. I will save time today for questions to ensure that I'm adding value to your journey beyond what I've prepared. And Maddie will be helping me with the chat. Never seem to get ahead. We'll be talking more about that too. Thank you for sharing, Trisha. So you'll hear me mention well-being quite a bit today. So I think it's important that we're on the same page around how I define well-being. So I want to be clear that I define well-being as individual satisfaction with the holistic dimensions of a well-lived life. So this is very personal. It's different than wellness, although it incorporates health and wellness. It's different because wellness is more objective, whereas the way I define it, well-being is more subjective. What do you want to live and thrive in life? So please keep that in mind throughout today's session. What you see on the screen are some of the common dimensions of well-being. So it's physical and it's financial and it's social. All of those things and those components are going to be considered as I mentioned well-being. So let's get to it and continue on. So clutter or so today we're talking about chaos, right? Harnessing the chaos. So chaos, aka clutter for today, costs us, literally costs us. 1 out of every 10 Americans rent offsite storage. This year, they collectively will spend 37.5 billion on storage with an average of about 190. And I shared this stat recently, and someone said, "Oh, my average is high." I'm much higher than that now because inflation, right? So let's say even upwards of $200 a month. Americans spend 1.2 trillion, that's with a T, trillion annually on non-essential goods. In other words, items that we don't need. And then over 2.7 billion a year is spent replacing non-essential items. And this is a big one because when we're disorganized or when we're immersed in clutter, we forget things, we overbuy because we couldn't find it, all of those sorts of things. So I want to lay that foundation because clutter and disorganization can negatively impact all of those dimensions of well-being that I mentioned earlier, and it can literally cost us. I'll spend just a little bit of time here on some of the benefits of living organized. So you'll see just sort of 10 highlights. As a professional organizer, I can talk about this all day, but just in case you need some other thinking around how living organized benefits can reduce stress and anxiety, which I talked a little bit about in my opening, improving mental clarity. It can save you time literally when you're not running around looking for those things, when you know where the things are that you placed. It increases productivity because a tidy environment can foster motivation, allowing you to complete tasks with efficiency and meet deadlines. It promotes, of course, health and wellness, as I mentioned. But here's something, the space, if it's cleaner, allergens aren't as big of an issue because clutter collects dust, if you will. And then another component here is we're less likely to go to, comfort foods or overeat in a more streamlined space. Fosters positive habits and routines. You have intentional spaces that can contribute to your goals. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Enhances creativity and joy, strengthens relationships. You're not embarrassed to have people over, boosts self-esteem and confidence. And then here, which is going to be the crux of a lot of our time today, it aligns with your goals and values. When your space reflects your priorities, it becomes a supportive environment that will help you to pursue your dreams and your aspirations, which is a huge part of what the Dream Bank is about. And Lily, I see your question. Will you receive the recording? Absolutely. It will be available on the DreamBank YouTube page after today. So thank you for that. So these benefits, I want to be clear here, these benefits go way beyond aesthetics, which I think we can get wrapped up in, right? Like organizing can look really good, but this is really an emphasis on intentional organization and how it can transform your home, your mindset, and your daily experiences, and ultimately position you to accomplish your goals and dreams. Since you're all here, though, I won't spend a whole lot of time on that because I'm going to guess you already see the value in living organized. You took 30 minutes to hang with me today. But let's be honest, getting and staying organized is challenging. It is very challenging. And here are some of the common struggles people face. So I will also invite you just a little bit of engagement here. If you resonate with any of these numbers that I have on the screen, pop them in the chat, number or numbers that best matches or aligns with some of the struggles you have with getting and staying organized. To highlight them aloud, no motivation or desire. You just you don't care. You can't really get started. You don't know where to start. Finding the time, too much stuff, decision making fatigue. You're just overwhelmed with all the decisions you have to make, trouble letting go. You have emotional attachment, some sentimental value you're placing on items, chronically disorganized or neurodiverse, not enough space, and inefficient organizing systems. I see them popping in the chat. I see quite a few twos, some fives, sixes, nines. So I see kind of across the gamut. I will cover them all. So I want to be clear here, as tough as this can be, this is the core of simplifying home organizing, which is our goal for today. This is the core, recognizing our challenges to effectively overcome them and create spaces that truly support our well-being. All of the above, I see that, Laura, but 3 seems like the biggest. 3, 5, please continue to keep it coming in. And I will say you're not alone. These are the reason I was able to come up with this list is because I hear them frequently. I hear these challenges frequently. So you are not alone. We're going to unpack them though. So living organized is not just about being neat or tidy. It's about efficiency and well-being. You'll continue to hear me emphasize that because I want us to shift our thinking. Sometimes it can feel like a chore. I have to do this. I want us to shift our thinking and think about living organized as a tool, as a resource to align with what you want in your life, right? Organization really should simplify your life. And many of the everyday struggles that I shared are interconnected. So we'll group them accordingly and explore some of the practical solutions to address them. So I'll get us started with, and I'm grouping them, no motivation. If you struggle to start organizing due to lack of motivation, knowing where to start, or time, the key is finding a compelling why. And this is a foundation, I would argue, for any of us. But TK Coleman, I am big on the minimalist. It was a Netflix series or a movie a while ago, but they also have a podcast that I love. And TK says, you don't actually lack motivation, you lack the right motivation. He says, for example, if I were to give you $10,000, think about this today. I said, I'm going to give you $10,000 to organize your most chaotic space. So think about what that may be. But if I said I'm going to give you $10,000 for it, I bet you would organize it. Let me know in the chat if you would organize it. I know I would because that money is an incentive. And so what he's saying is you have to ask yourself what matters most to you and make sure that you're really getting to the core of what's going to drive you to live organized. So what are your goals and dreams? We're here today for the Dream Bank. Attach this to something that you really care about. It's turning a should, something external, into a must, something internal. I'm driven to do this because I have this big dream, this big goal that I have to accomplish. And I know that this is a resource to help me get there. Maybe you want to work out more. Maybe you want to start a business. If you do, definitely continue to engage in DreamBank. It's an amazing resource. Or maybe you just want to host your friends without stress or embarrassment. Organized spaces can support any of our goals, but it is making that link and it's very, very personal. So I would say regarding starting where to start and not having time, start small, you all. Just start. It can be a purse, it can be your vehicle. Don't overthink it. Life rewards action, not just planning. So even 10 or 15 minutes of organizing is progress. It absolutely is progress. Try pairing organizing with something you already enjoy, like listening to a podcast or watching your favorite show. Remember, it's not about perfection, though. It's really about creating a space that aligns your values and helps you thrive. All right. And I see most definitely for the 10K, money is not a motivation. Okay. So you have to identify. I appreciate that, Ashwini. You're saying, nope, that's not going to do it for me. So you have to identify what is your motivator. And again, I shared those well being dimensions earlier because that's something you can pull from as you think about what motivates you, what you want in your life. So it could be one of those other dimensions. Thank you for sharing that too. I'll keep us moving. If you have too much stuff and you feel overwhelmed by decisions, start by decluttering. I'm an organizer, so I'm sure you're not shocked by that. But letting go of what you don't need helps you to see what truly matters, what you do need, and reducing decision fatigue. Every item in your home requires a choice. So fewer items means fewer decisions. And clutter, we often say as organizers, it's just a delayed decision. You're going to have to make a decision about it at some point, and it could be in the point of frustration or exhaustion or stress, right? So reducing those items. I typically recommend you start with decluttering anyway, even if you don't feel overwhelmed with your space, because it's not just about letting go, but gaining self-awareness. It's an incredible exercise in learning more about yourself and your habits. For extra help, you can join my listserv, which I will share more about later, Tailored Thoughts. You can go to my website and I will send you a decluttering guide that kind of walks you through some of my tips. If you are already on my listserv, you can just email me or DM me on Instagram. If you follow me, I will get those guides to you. All right, let's keep going. So letting go of possessions means releasing the stories we've told ourselves about them. So you have to reframe it. It's not just saying no to an item, but saying yes to what you truly desire. Emotional attachments can be complex, tied to memories or deeper feelings. And if left unchecked, I say they live rent free in our space, not just in our space, but in our minds, right? Psychotherapist Susan Forward's concept of emotional blackmail using fear, obligation, and guilt, or FOG, as it comes together as an acronym, can help explain why we feel stuck. Recognizing this dynamic can help us move forward. Again, recognizing your challenges, being able to name it is how you can overcome those challenges. So I want to talk a little bit more about fog, fear, obligation, and guilt. So fear is the scarcity mindset. It is, what if I need this someday? We've all been there, right? Like, what if? Let me know in the chat if you've said that to yourself. But what if I need this someday? Assume scarcity. It's leading to clutter by holding on to items just in case. Dr. Joseph Ferrari explains that it isn't the issue of abundance, but our attachment to it. So shift to an abundance mindset and trust that you are so resourceful, so smart that you will be able to get that item if the day comes. Obligations is more around our expectations. A lot of them are external, of course. I need to keep this for someone else. How many of us have thought that? Someone, maybe a parent or someone, a friend, hey, I need to use this space, right? Holding on to things for others can overshadow our personal needs. So you have to set guidelines and deadlines for others to retrieve their items. I have literally coached my clients through this and communicate how your priorities have shifted. Yes, people resonating with the I might need this later, fear of being without. It's so real. What if I lose 40 pounds to fit into jeans and from 20 years ago? Yeah, absolutely. But here's what I will tell you. You can still buy those jeans. You can still buy whatever size. And so what I often will coach, since you're talking about clothes too, our clothes are meant to fit us, not the other way around. And so if they don't fit you, you're literally walking into your closet and having your clothes shame you. So I want you to be empowered to create the lifestyle that supports you. And then you can absolutely get clothes later that, that may fit. And it's okay to hold on to a few items, but I would say don't have your closet overwhelm you with telling you what you should be, right? Finally, guilt. Sentimental items fall into this. How can I let go of this item? It's from a loved one. Gifts or inherited items can have that emotional weight, but memories, and we have to tell ourselves this, memories live in experiences, not in the objects. So if parting feels hard, you can repurpose meaningful items like turning old fabric into a blanket. Again, if you reach out to me and let me know you connected here. So if you go to my page, Tailored Thoughts, you join the listserv, you can see a drop down for DreamBank. That'll let me know you join me here. And you'll get access to a sentimental clutter guide as well, which will help you with making some of those tougher decisions and thinking about how you can repurpose items. But so much of this is reframing your mindset. This is the foundation for any of the action of organizing your home to help you release what no longer serves you, making space for what aligns with your life. You got to move forward with setting those boundaries, finding accountability, and even working with a therapist here may be helpful. So I want to put that as an option. I see Carol saying I have heels as a problem more than pre-pandemic, but not so much now. Me neither. I wear tennis shoes with dressy things all the time now and dresses that match my shoes, working through it. If I bring something in, I need to send something out. Yes, the one in, one out rule is so good, Carol. So great, great, great. As soon as I throw this out, I will need it for something. Those are the stories we tell ourselves, right? And so we have to find a way to disassociate. I will tell you, I've released a lot of items over the years, and I've always been able to replace it. I will also say here, it does empower us to get more creative. We may not need to have all of those things in our homes, but you can borrow things. I am really good at borrowing things that I may not need. Let's say it's even for a special event. I am grateful. My mother-in-law actually wears the same size as me. I am very good for saying, hey, mom, I'm going to this event. And I get to borrow that item versus it taking up my real estate day to day in my home. We have a bit more to cover, so I'll keep us going. Chronic disorganization and neurodiversity. I want to highlight here that the Institute for Challenging Disorganization, or ICD, defines chronic disorganization as a pattern that persists, undermines the quality of your life, even when you've tried. It's resisting self-help attempts, right? So if you're dealing with chronic disorganization, or if you're neurodiverse, for example, you may have ADHD, getting and staying organized can be more difficult. So please, please, please give yourself grace. If this resonates with you, I highly encourage you to visit the ICD. They have a clutter quality of life scale that can help you better understand how clutter impacts your well-being. And you may also consider partnering with a professional organizer, really to help you to create systems that are really tailored to your needs. All right, here's our last sort of grouping for today as we look at the struggles, and I'll stick to some of the time here because this is really where we get to the how of organizing. And because there are so many of you on the line, I can't tailor this to your specific needs, but let's say not enough space, inefficient organizing systems. So if you're struggling with limited space and inefficient organizing systems, here's how to mindfully evaluate any room. One, assess the space. Literally walk through your space with no need to act on it yet, but walk through your space like you're a stranger, like you've never been in your house, right? Just start opening drawers and opening doors and cabinets and look at your stuff. Sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, our things become background noise. We're seeing it every day. So it's helpful to just have on that critical eye and just start to look at your things without going to grab anything, without starting to declutter. Just look at your things, identify those cluttered hotspots and areas that don't serve your lifestyle, your goals, but ask, is this space peaceful? Is it functional? So now, even as a mini activity, if you want to just visualize a room and ask yourself, what's working? This is what I do when I work with clients. What's working here? What's not working? How do I feel here? Or very critical questions to ask. And then here's some of the key steps to getting organized. We talked about decluttering, could pursue, let me see, could per scarf and hat storage ideas. Okay, absolutely, I'll get to that. So high level declutter, let go of what doesn't serve you, measure the space before you start buying anything. Please, please, please measure the space, making sure that you can prepare it to accurately honor the organizing system you come up with. Sorting by category and thinking about zones and the flow of your day is really critical. Grouping those similar items together, choosing the right products. You may opt for clear I know a lot of clients will say, well, if it's solid, I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to remember what's in there. Of course, you can put labels, but if you know, hey, I need to see what's in the bin, you may opt for clear items. With not enough space, you want to go up then. There's only so much horizontal space. So think about products that stack or allow you to use vertical space. And then finally, maintain, develop systems that support your daily life. So for me, that's in the morning, I like to get my coffee. So I make sure my mugs are right by my coffee machine, right? Or for going out of the house, I make sure we have all of the things we can need, our key hooks with all of the items that we need in that zone. So think about how you flow throughout the day. If you need help with maintaining, I also have a talk on that that's attached to one of the declutter guides. So that resource is there for you too. But these simple steps can make a big difference. And again, following some of those additional resources I will help will give you even more um, details of how to navigate. So I know there were some questions already about specific things. So I'm going to wrap us up by saying vision without action is a daydream. And I think this is so appropriate for a daydream, I mean, for DreamBank, excuse me, because without structure, without making sure that you have some accountability to actually go, it's just a daydream. So think about your goals and your dreams and take them seriously. Take yourself seriously because you deserve it. You really do deserve it. High level, what I talked about today is aligning your space with your needs and your dreams and not just being tidy, right? Tackle common organizing challenges with small and consistent steps, and then creating some solutions that work for you, your habits, your goals, and your well being. So, my ask to you is what's your one key takeaway or aha moment? If you want to pop that in the chat, would love to see it. And then the call to action is to identify that one, well-being goal. You saw those dimensions earlier. Think about a space that you're in your home that most impacts your well-being or your goal and start transforming that area this week. Like today, you can do it today. Take 10 minutes after the call and just start. And for extra credit, you can tell a friend, tell somebody who cares about you, who will help you to remain accountable to what you've promised to yourself. So I'll conclude where I began, and I'll still protect time for Q&A. I'll conclude where I began. Since 2020, my life has not been perfect, far from it, but I've learned how to carve out time and space for peace amid life's inevitable storms and chaos. So embracing an organized life has been a cornerstone for this transformation for me. And I want to thank you all so much for your attention today. Yes, it is being recorded, Sue, so you will get that. And then I do want to, again, honor some questions. So there was an earlier question, and Maddie, you can help me if I missed any. There was one about how to parse scarves and hat storage. So for me, I will tell you, my scarves, I actually roll them up. I find that works best for me. I've seen some of my some clients or other organizers, there are scarf hangers that you can put in your closet. So if that's more, if you need it in your, again, if you need it visible to you, you have to know yourself. If you need it visible to you to remember you have it, I recommend something like that. It's a scarf hanger. They come in all different sorts of styles. You can get them on Amazon or Target. But for me, I actually roll mine and put them in a scarf bin. And then for the ones that I know I like with a certain coat or outfit, I just put it with that outfit, or put it with that coat because I'm more apt. And then I don't have to store it. And I just know, like, hey, it's here when I need it. And then when it comes to hat storage, there are so many. If you're talking about lidded hats, they have these really cool compartment things where you can like stack them similar to how they are in the store. I've seen hangers where you can literally just pop little hangers on the wall, and that can give you more of like an aesthetic sort of hat hanger, if you will. For hats that are more like winter, fall hats, like we're getting into, I do just put those in bins and stack them and just make sure I label them because my kiddos have a lot of hats. So that would be my recommendation for that. And then if you reach out, I'm happy to share some of those links with you as well. Let's see. Any others that are specific to spaces? Mine is emotional attachment. Thank you, Ria, for sharing that. So much sentimental clutter. If you reach out to me again, I will provide you with a guide specifically for sentimental clutter. Please know I get it. I just recently this year went through something that I have from my grandmother. My grandmother passed 17 years ago, and I had a box from her that I hadn't opened in 17 years. So when I tell you I get it, I get it. But what I say is we honor those things most when we can use them, when we can bring, when they can bring joy to our lives, when we can actually have utility. So maybe it's thinking about how to utilize those things that you've placed sentimental value on differently so they can actually add value to your life. Let's see, create a small daily habit. I love that. Declutter. Yes, and decluttering daily is huge. Just give it 5 minutes so it doesn't feel overwhelming. Many of us can't do it for hours at a time, and that's fine. Just a few minutes a day is profound. Focusing on the zones. Maddie, you can let me know if I'm missing anything. Plastic shoe over the, yes, I love over the door. This is really great for optimizing space. Seeing the plastic, seeing through them, absolutely. Kid stuff, oh my gosh, I could do a whole session on kid stuff. So definitely have some tips there. I will say, get the kids involved. Once they, especially you can start even, Maddie, I know you have an 18-month-old. Even at 18 months old, I was having my kids start to understand the value of cleaning up behind themselves, right? Starting small. Of course, I don't expect them to do what I can do, but you empower them and give them ownership of their items, right? So I definitely involve my children. Please repeat, how can we access the guides? I will actually put my, and I'm going to put this slide up because it has it on here. So I would love for you to stay in touch. You can either Instagram me and I will send those guides directly to you. You can email me. Or what I was asking as well, if you go to my website, Tailored Thoughts is my newsletter. It's on the homepage at the bottom. It's on several pages throughout my website, and I will send that over to you as well. So please, please, please do that,
There's
and I would be happy.
one
Please go
question
ahead,
that
Maddie.
came through that I thought was really great. What about winter versus summer closet change out tips? Shoes, sweaters, long sleeves, etc. What's the best way to do
Yeah.
from back
I'm
from
stopping
front and
sharing.
back of closets, bins, basement switch?
Yeah, I'm actually going through that myself for the first time in a few years. So I definitely am taking my things to the basement in a airtight bin. Definitely under bed storage is good though if you don't have a basement or a lot of storage space. Target has a ton of these now. They're great under bed storage, and what you can do is use a vacuum seal bag if you are short in space, and that's going to suck all the air out of it and really let you optimize the space. Um, so hopefully that helps, but definitely I recommend, or you can put them up. So if your closet does have shelves that you just happen to not use and they're higher up, You can also get bins and put them higher up in your closet as well. I do that with some of my husband's summer clothes when it's winter.
Perfect. And then we have one last question if you want to just
Yeah,
keep it brief, but how do you help someone
yeah.
who's hoarding? What's a way to inspire them to start decluttering and get organized?
Yeah, so here's where I was talking about chronic disorganization. Hoarding falls in this. And so I would say that's a very different approach than what many of us organizers, I would highly recommend that you access ICD, the Institute for Challenging Disorganization, find some local resources because hoarding is a very different approach to organizing.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I
Absolutely.
took a bunch of notes, and I also don't know if anyone can relate to this on the call. My approach to home organization is very different than my partner's approach to home
That's
organization.
a whole nother session too, Maddie.
Um,
Yeah.
I was leaving our college graduation ceremony and they gave us all medals. And I remember walking out and I walked right by like this like little bin. And I just like took it off and like put it in the bin for like they were like, and I was like, I don't even need to bring this into my house. My mom was devastated. She's like, what about this medal? And I was like, you're welcome. Like, welcome. And my partner still has like a piece of paper that he wrote a post-it note on like his 130th day of class or like
Yeah.
from second grade. So we have very different approaches, which is always fun. So I definitely took some notes for us to kind of chat together and maybe we walk through our house as strangers together,
Yeah.
and do that activity. But thank you so much. This has been really helpful.
Thank you all.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. It is nice to know that I'm not alone
Yeah.
in the clutter, especially with an 18-month-old. But until next time, friends.
Thank you all. Thank you for being here.